What's cracklin', everybody? I'm Growmaster. Welcome to Special Atlas video. So there's a big announcement, big massive announcement that they just made. Talked about all the milestones throughout here. I'm going to run down the whole stream. I have little clips and stuff that I'm going to use from their stream because they said that it was copacetic. So, yeah, there is. Well, here's Jat's announcement first about official servers being wiped.
Important we would like to say, and that is we will be wiping the official network for this March release. That is both the PvP and the PvE servers. Partially, the first reason we're going to do that is because some of these changes are quite drastic. The entire revamp for the claim system kind of requires us to do a wipe, and as we're going to be redesigning the world entirely by adding over 200 new islands, basically an island per grid, as well as some new playable zones, a wipe is pretty much necessary to make sure that all those are working correctly.
That's the massive change that they're doing. They're going to be completely wiping out the servers because they're doing so much. But I mean, the stuff that they're doing, you can see all the little things listed on here, which they go through more in detail later on, at least some of them. But I understand why they have to wipe it out, because they are adding more islands. It's going to change things. I don't know how I feel about PvE or PvP now. I have mixed emotions about it. Oh, we'll see more towards when it comes out what I'm going to do. I may end up still sticking to PvE for right now, just until they have more balancing issues and everything situated. But who knows? But then on to the submarine. So the submarine, you can see, is this little tiny submarine. You can go inside of it, and what's cool is you can just like walk around inside. Like, there's a little space. You can have people in there. You do have to beat the Kraken to even build this thing. You can go inside of it though, if you haven't beaten the Kraken, if somebody else has built it. But in order to build the thing in the very first place, you have to beat the Kraken. So there is that thing. And then there is, like, that's the outside of it, which is pretty cool outside. Like, I dig it. And little hooks on the front. Like, it looks cool. I think this thing looks really cool. And even when they're driving, you can go into third person, so you don't have that horrible, like, perspective like you do when you have the suit on, or you can't even see anything because it's just covering the whole screen. But, yeah, then there's, like, the underwater biome part. Like, this whole area down here is so cool. Like, it looks so amazing. Like, there's, like, the city and everything that just kind of comes into play. Like, there's so much different things all along. Just different, like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's just so much. Unfortunately, the only thing I've seen, though, they show when they first, yeah, there's sperm whales, but then there is crabs down here, and that's about all. And you can get out at any point in time. It's kind of like Subnautica in that sense, I think. It's pretty cool. Just pop out, and you're out in the water. You can swim around and get stuff. Of course, your oxygen's going to deplete. You're going to have to pay attention to that. But you can go around and gather stuff. But as far as anything else is concerned, so I'm just going to basically give it a quick rundown, because there was like an hour-long thing. The next thing is the claim status, like what they're doing with the claims. So basically, you can build anywhere. You can build it. You don't have to claim anything anymore. You can build wherever you want. But the claims now are per island, one per island. So only basically one company is going to have an island to themselves, and there's a limit on how many islands you can have. There's no merging of flags, so you can't, like, get a bunch of companies gathering flags and then merging together, even though you can still ally and stuff. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. There's no sea claims, so that's just completely out. No land stealing. What there is now is there is, like, certain island. Every island has a rank, so depending on where you are, how big the island is, everything like that, it's going to have a rank. So that rank is going to affect how much you have to pay towards the island. So there's an upkeep. You have to build a tax bank before you can even claim an island. And you still have to kill everybody on the island before you can claim it. PvE doesn't even have claims. They're just not even a thing. We'll get to that in a second. But PvP, you have to kill everybody on the entire island before you can claim it. So that's the big thing that's making me not want to go towards PvP, because that's just going to be a hassle in upon itself that I don't know if we have enough people, or if I really want to even bother doing. It seems like it'd be really cool on a private server. But I'm going to stick with official for now. The upkeep on it, though. So you build your tax bank, you get your claim flag. There is an assortment of resources, it requests, basically. They didn't say what they were, but my guess is going to be wood, thatch, all that kind of stuff. You're going to have a certain amount to maintain, basically, your claim on that area. The cool thing is, when you have this, there is no longer all-the-time raiding. On an island that doesn't have a claim, there is PvP all the time. It's just like a lawless sector. But ones that do have a claim can set up a 9-hour or a time frame. I think it says, like, they said 9 hours. All this stuff is liable to change, of course, because it's still a month, about a month out. But all this is liable to change. You can set a window, though. So basically during that window, you can get attacked, but other times you can't. So you just have to make sure to be online during that time, which is great. But again, there's another exception they made to this. You can buy a token of war. They said it's going to be a good amount of money, and it's going to be a scheduled time period, but you can basically, if the person uses it, and they can attack whenever during that time period that they started. So it still allows for people to attack an island even when they're not in that, like, time zone. So you can still attack people when they're not offline, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out. It's going to be a weird thing in itself. PvP to me is still, I don't do a lot of PvP just because it's just, I'm not a big fan of constantly having to restart. I don't care about this. I'm totally going to find restarting, and I'm going to restart. Then we get to PvE. So PvE now has no claim flags whatsoever. And there's building decay over time everywhere. There is a building you can now have, or some sort of thing you can have that auto-repairs structure. Like, it's a structure that auto-repairs things. So you basically put the resources in there, and it will auto-repair. So that's cool, and that's the reason I will kind of probably continue on PvE, because the auto-decay stuff, I'm not a big fan of, but I understand why, because there's people that just stop playing, and then it's just sitting out there like it is now. And decay damage, decay, and unchanged. What? Lawless is damage, decay, and unchanged. I don't understand exactly what that means. But yeah, they didn't really go into that one, or I didn't hear anything. But the PvE thing, it's going to allow more. With more islands, there's going to be more things to do. So there's just going to be a lot more things we can do there. But then we got on to the hook. What was it? Yeah, it was the hook. The hook and peg leg. Like, they just showed an image of it. It's just not. It's just a skin. It's a thing that it is. But that's one of the things that they're adding. I don't feel skins are something they should honestly be working at this point in time. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Work on your game. Work on adding more content. Skins to me, it seems like it should be something that should come later on. Maybe there are people that don't have another job to do right now, so that's what their job is, to work on skins. I guess maybe that's a thing. I didn't think about that till literally just this second. But then there is also a hat. So we're getting a hat that is strictly because we played prior to. If you played prior to the wipe, you get this hat as a permanent thing. You don't get it otherwise. But there is this hat, so there's the thing that's happening. Again, it's another skin. But yeah, and then they have some models real quick of the other skins that are coming out. They're working they're still work in progress, but they do have a model of all the other ones. And then we get to the Guillotine. So the Guillotine is it's another kind of, it seemed like cosmetic at first. I guess there is an aspect that's good to this. So if you stick somebody's head in the Guillotine, you can take their experience when you chop their head off. Not a lot, some, but you get some of their experience. And then you can take the head and you can put it on a pike on the ground or something like that, or possibly on a wall hook. I think the guy grabbed a wall hook when he was looking at his inventory, but he didn't put it on a wall hook, so I can't say for sure. But then, so you can, yeah, that's just a thing you can do. And then we get on to the ships of the damned. So they travel in packs now. The packs are, I think they said 3 to 5 or something. I'm not 100% sure what that number was, but they did talk about packs. There is all 3 sizes you can see right here. There's basically the smaller version, the bigger the version we have now, and then the galley version. And it's crazy, man. That's so flippin' huge, and it looks so much cooler than the original model they showed. It almost looks like a spaceship to me, though. But it is pretty cool, and it looks like it shoots a bunch of cannons at one time, so that's pretty nuts. And then we get on to the grappling hook, which was really the last thing they said, and they actually seemed like they almost missed it. The grappling hook has some changes, so now you can see you have to actually rappel up. I mean, it looks like you can still climb straight up, but you can swing around. You can swing all over the place. You can be like George of the Jungle here and stuff. And so that looks like it's gonna be super fun. I'm excited to try that one out. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest points that they made. Oh, right, sorry, there's one more. There was one more. I almost forgot it because they almost forgot it. The Eastern Tundra now. It's a new biome that they're adding. It looks really cool, and it still seems like the Tundra, but it's like a different version of the Tundra. Like there's the northern desert and the southern desert. They're just basically everything right now is the western Tundra, they said. So now there's going to be an eastern Tundra and a southern Tundra? I don't remember, but there's going to be at least an eastern Tundra, and this is what it looks like. But yeah, I don't know. I don't do these videos very often, so this is a little chaotic and everything. But yeah, I did want to make one because there's a lot of stuff that they covered on this, and the wipes. It's a big deal. Like I want to know how you guys feel. Like, I'm for it, I guess. I still don't like having to restart over, but I'm down. Like it happens, and we can do that. That's fine. Everything's chaotic and psychotic right now, so I understand why they're doing it. But adding more islands is awesome too. But yeah, until next time.